What's up, guys? So this is probably going to be the fourth video in the restore of my winter wheels. And the first video kind of introduced the wheels and my intentions for them. Second video went through the washing of the wheels, just getting them all scrubbed up and getting the grime off of them using Dawn dish detergent. Third video was sanding up the wheels, getting all the rough spots and everything out of them. And this video now is going to be the body filler portion of restoring these wheels. And you go through here. This is what I'm going to be using. You can start off the first part of whenever you're doing body filler. You want to do an alcohol wash on the tires. It kind of gets any kind of oil, grease, grime, anything that's residual off of it. I know this doesn't have a label on it, but I swear this is isopropyl alcohol, 70%, with some shop towels. I go through that process. And then I will be using this fast dry filler, which actually dries in about 15 minutes, according to what this says. Anybody who's ever done anything with body filler then knows that this is a two-part process of mixing. Take the lid off. You can probably see it right in there. There's a little tube, which is a hardener. You just put a little bit of stuff on there on a flat surface. Put some of the hardener in there, and I'll read the directions on how much to put in through it and go from there. Usually there's like a certain spatula that you use. I don't really have that. Don't really feel like getting it, so I'm just gonna use a regular spatula for mixing, and then just a little, it's like a plastic butter knife thing used for plaster and stuff like that, to kind of apply it to the wheels. And then I also have some Rust-Oleum primer, which is a sandable primer on there. And what this does is, after you get the body filler on and get it all sanded down, you put the primer on, just kind of do an even paint coat across the whole entire surface of the wheel, and this will let you see any parts that are not smooth or flush with the rest of the part of the wheel. So it gives you a chance to see it and sand it down more, and make it more flush. This is going to be a testing process, a learning process for me, that I'm going to document for you. I got a little piece of cardboard here. This is what I'm going to use to mix the body filler on. And then one thing I didn't put over here that I will grab is gloves. You definitely want to wear gloves when you're doing this, because you don't want to get it on your hands, have it stick there. Just it's a mess. So wear rubber gloves when you're doing it. I'm going to start this process of cleaning. Once I get the wheel up here, I'll show you guys what's going on with it, and start with the body filler. Okay, so I've got my first part of adding body filler. I went around all the parts that had the scratches on them. I don't know if I've applied it correctly or not, but we'll find out. This was supposed to harden in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to let it harden, test it out. I'm going to sand it down. I'm just going to use 600 grit to sand it down once everything is hardened, and see how it turns out. I think I'm going to do one tire at a time, where I'm going to do the body filler, sand down, and then primer. So after we go through the sanding down process, we'll look at it and decide if we're ready to do a primer, if we need to do another round of body filler on it. So we'll go from there. Okay, so the first wheel, body filler sanding, is relatively completed. I think I might have to do a little bit more cleanup, but you see through here, looks pretty nice. I've ran my finger through all this, and it feels like pretty smooth all the way through here as I rub my fingers. There might be a couple spots where I might need to do a little bit more feeler, but this is like, it's smooth through here. it looks pretty good. So yeah, overall pretty happy. So far I've really enjoyed this process. This is one of the things I wanted to find out, is if I would enjoy doing things like this, and so far it turns out, I mean, it's pretty relaxing. I've been out doing this all day from start to finish. So yeah, we'll get this squared away. I'll probably tomorrow I'll start doing the other wheels. Welcome back, guys. So this is going to be another video on the body filler part of the process for restoring these wheels. Just as a reminder, these are wheels that I got off of Facebook Marketplace for $150, and I put Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4s on the wheels themselves, and used them for the winter. And if you saw the process on the first video, they were curved, they were messed up a lot, and I just rode around this past winter with them like that. I don't intend on doing that this winter, so I'm making an attempt to restore them and paint them the Subaru Rally Gold. Looking at this one, listen, just doing a re-inspection on it before I put it away and start on the next wheel. Wanted to see what it looked like after a week of having the body filler on and the sanding. I found a couple of spots that just looked a little questionable still, so I went ahead and did a little bit more sanding and got it down nice and smooth. So I don't feel any kind of raised area at all here. The next part of the process for this wheel would be to put the primer paint on it. As you can see, the wheel itself is a little like more of a satin finish. I went ahead and just did a little bit of a prep on it to get some of the clear coat off of it so that the primer paint will stick to it better. That's gonna be another part of the process I'm going to do after I get all 4 wheels body filled and sanded down and smooth. And then from there I'll do all 4 wheels on the primer and we'll look at it. The primer is going to tell me if I've done a good job of making everything look like a natural surface or a straight surface. And then once I look at that and I see any spots that have any imperfection, I can use small amounts of body filler on that as well to kind of fill it in again. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put this wheel away because I'm going to consider it done for this process and start the next one, and I'll show that to you. Okay, so this is the next wheel that I'm going to be doing the body filler on. Again, this is another one that had like the least amount of damage. Look here, there's one part that I've sanded down a little bit. There's a part over here in the inside part of the rim or wheel. There's a spot right here, right through here. These were some rock chips that I found. I just sanded down a little bit. Let me focus. Yeah, there you go. I just kind of sanded them down. This here looks like a rock chip, but when I feel it, I mean, it doesn't feel. If I can get it focused, sorry guys. It doesn't feel like it's a rock chip on there. It's just on mark. I tried to scratch at it, it's still there, but I may sand that down and just body fill that as well. There's also a part on the edge here. And this will be my first, oh no, it won't be my second. But I'm gonna mix up some body filler. I'm sorry, first part of the process. I'm gonna go ahead and clean it with isopropyl alcohol. I know that you can also, you're also supposed to use wax and grease remover. I think alcohol does about the same thing. Gets it all cleaned up, dries pretty quick. Oh, and the wheel's sanitized. Hey, well, you know. Hashtag COVID. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get that process started. What I'll do is I'll mix it up and apply it. I'll show you what it looks like after it's applied, and then when it dries, which it should dry in about 15 minutes, I'll sand it down and I'll show you what that looks like afterwards as well. Alright guys, so I put the body filler on the areas that I sanded down. I went a little light some of these areas here because they were pretty smooth. I just want to make sure I get it all smoothed out on this area through here. On the end, I probably went a little thicker than I needed to, and I did that just because the gouges on this was probably the deepest on it, because it is a curb rash. So I went ahead, put it on a little thicker, let it dry, and I'll sand it out and see what it looks like from there. But one thing I didn't show previously here, I did have a spot on the side here. It got a little thick on that too, but I think once I start sanding, it'll smooth out and be just fine. So once this dries, we'll go ahead and start the sanding process, and I'll let you guys see what it looks like after it's sanded down. Alright guys, so I just got done cleaning off the primer off of the second wheel. On the first one, when I showed you after I sanded, I cleaned out the dust first, but I kind of wanted to show you guys just how dusty this wheels actually get when you're doing the sanding. There's all kinds of dust down in there, and just wanted to show you guys what that looked like prior to just getting it cleaned up. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and clean this off, do some an alcohol bath on this again, and look at everything and see if I got it sanded down properly, and I'll do that with you guys. Okay, so I did the first part of getting the dust off of the wheel after sanding off the body filler. Again, this is the second wheel, and I didn't actually do any kind of alcohol wipe on it yet because I didn't really need to. I already found some spots that I need to actually take care of and get sanded before I can consider this wheel body filled and ready for primer. And that's one of the things I guess is important on this as well, is that when you're doing the sanding and you get all the dust off, it's important to clean the dust off of it and then re-inspect the wheel to see if there's any spots that you missed, because chances are you're going to. You notice here on this one actually turned out pretty good. If you see, the primer actually took the shape of the gouge that was in there, if you guys remember that in the previously part of this video. But one of the things I saw that I missed is, like, over here on the edge turned out really good. If you look here, you can see it looks like it's still gouged, but what that is like the body filler right here. The body filler has actually filled in and made that part smooth to the touch. So what you're seeing is the gouge part with the body filler in there just sanded down smooth. This part here, I missed it, so I got to sand it. It's rough. It's just a little bit of the primer. If you remember, I put this part on really, really thick, and so I didn't get it all sanded down properly. So this will take me about a couple minutes to sand down. And then also over here on the sidewall part, there's another rough part right here that I didn't actually get quite sanded down properly, so I'll sand that down more. That came out pretty good. It's very smooth across the board here. I don't feel anything raised right on the sides. And again, the sides are softer, or it seems softer than at the top part of this here. So you know, I'm trying to be a little bit more careful when I sand. I did make a mistake in the earlier part of the video when I was saying that I was sanding these down with the 600 grit. That is incorrect. I'm using 150 grit when I am sanding the stuff, and then I use the 600 grit to kind of do a little finish and take off any of the sanding marks from the 150 grit. However, I have not done the 600 grit on this one yet because I'm just doing the inspection and looking for any spots that I might have missed on the sanding process, because I'm doing this by hand and just by visual. And that was pretty smooth. That came out pretty good. There. So also I did some review on a video, the next video I'm going to post, and I found out just how professional I am when I was videoing the first wheel showing the finished product of sanding down the body filler. I got a visit from my finger on the lens a little bit, so I mean that shows how professional I am on the YouTube front and video making. So I'm going to apologize on this end for the finger. I promise you it was not the middle finger, it was the pointy finger. If I was going to give you the middle finger, I would just do it right to your face. Anyway, So this is, I'm going to get the parts that I missed sanded. And then I'm going to do the 600 grit. We'll do another look at this wheel before I put her away, and then we'll get started on the third wheel. Okay, so now I have the final sanding done of the body filler. Everything is nice and smooth. It looks halfway decent. All the way through here. And then I did take the 600 grit across it. And I did some of the other parts of the wheel as well. So if you notice, the wheel's not as much of a luster as it had before. It's a little bit foggy, a little bit dense, which is it's fine. Because that part just makes it so that the primer paint will adhere to the wheel a little better. And before I put the primer paint on, I do intend on doing like a steel wool across it as well, just to kind of help with the stickiness of it. One thing I did notice is on the edge part of the wheel where I fixed that curb rash. If you look down in the tire area, the so-called rim protection of the tire, there's still a lot of dust down in there. I'm not really too concerned about it because I will be giving this a bath prior to with some Dawn soap prior to doing the primer on it, and it should work out fine. Should get it all scrubbed out and clean and ready for primer. So I'm going to consider this wheel prepped with body filler and ready for primer, and I will go ahead and get started on the third wheel. It may be in this video, or I may do another video. Again, I'm not really a professional YouTuber, so I don't know. I mean, my videos end abruptly and weird, and they start in a different way. So I think what I'll do is, I know I treated this video in the beginning as starting a new video, but I'll go ahead and attach it to the first wheel that I did, and then the last two wheels, which are really the most damaged wheels that we have. That's probably going to take a big old long video anyway, because they were the most ridiculous ones. So I'll go ahead and make it so that these two wheels, the lightest damaged wheels, are together in one video, and then I'll do another video on doing the body filler on the next ones, because that might even be a couple step process where I sand it down, and then I'll have to do another round of body filler and sand it down again, because they're pretty bad. So alright, so I'm going to close this video out with this second wheel being done with the primer, and I'm going to ask, like a standard YouTuber will do, if you are enjoying this content, go ahead and give it a like. If you don't like this content, then I assume that you just moved on and don't have to worry about doing any dislikes, because, you know, what's the point? And if you want to, consider subscribing. Who knows where this channel is going to go? I have like varying interests. It could be just a hodgepodge of whatever, or vlog, whatever. I don't know. Just try my hand at it, see what happens. But for now, it's just going to be about this wheel restoration and stuff I'm going to be doing to my Subaru WRX that I have. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.